Okay, so hello, welcome to part 2. We're going to be putting the CPU cooler onto the CPU. Motherboard is already in the case and ready. Now, we have assembled our Zalman water cooler here. If you're using an air cooler, then please refer to the instructions on assembling the bracket and the back plate. Now, we have literally just stuck the back plate behind, and that's what these silver mounting holes are there. As I said, if you're using a different cooler, it will be different, but the overall installation is practically the same. So, we're going to put this on. If you are using the same cooler, then great, because this is really going to help you. If you're using an air cooler, then you want to follow the same technique that we're using for this pump here. Pretend that is your air cooler, but you won't have to put this big lumpy thing on at the back. So, I'm going to align this now.
Alright, I'll hold it.
Right, now I'm going to need you, Norman, to hold.
Where are they? Yeah, that's right.
Yep, if you could just hold that in place there, like that. Just hold it from the front.
Alright, I'll look at that. Alright, that looks like it's lined up.
Okay, so we're just lining the CPU cooler
I'll push
at
that
the
over.
back.
Actually, it's fine.
Just up a bit.
I mean, these little movements are so, minute, it's really important.
Yeah, you've really got to get these screws in, especially for a water cooler. Get these screws nice and snug. There's one. You want to put the next screw in at the back if you are using a water cooler. This would also work for just installing an exhaust fan, but this is for the water cooler radiator. Now we're using just a traditional back setup, exhaust setup here. You could mount this radiator in quite a few different places depending on your case. We've decided, as I said, just to go for the traditional back setup here. There we go, that's hands-free now. Got the washers on there as well, just to provide that extra stability.
Yeah.
Just put this in place. Make sure all your screws are in nice and snug. Okay, now that the water cooler is attached, the next step will be to actually attach the pump,
And
which
the thermal paste
is going to go on like that.
Yeah. We need thermal paste first.
Yep.
Okay, so here we go. There's the thermal paste.
Okay, so for your thermal paste, now people have different techniques for doing this. The main thing to do is to make sure that you're applying the thermal paste to a clean surface. Now, first of all, we're going to purify using the Arctic Clean Thermal Surface Purifier. We're going to purify the CPU and the cooler itself. So just pop a bit of your purifier. Now, you can get this on Amazon, which comes also with thermal paste remover. If you would like to remove, it's just that little bottle over there. It's the purifying and removal kit. Just get yourself a kitchen towel. Just go
Paper
on
towel.
there. Paper towel. Just give that a nice little rub. This is just to purify the surface of any impurities for the cooler to make perfect contact. So now on the actual cooler itself, any fingerprints or dust that may have built up while we've been moving around, let's give that a nice wipe, nice clean finish. Little blow just in case there's any dust. Much better to use a lint-free cloth if available, but paper towel will do just fine. So now the actual thermal paste itself. Now it's so easy to use too much of this. Now some people like to do lines, some people like to do a dot in the middle. I'm just going to let that evaporate on there. Should give that another little wipe.
There you go.
You can just see it's a little bit too much purifier just lingering on the surface there. Just give that a nice wipe dry. Okay, so with the thermal paste, the technique that I use and many other people will use, you can use lines. I like to use a pea-sized amount just in the middle and let the pressure and the heat dissipate it evenly. So there's a little tail off to the side there. That's okay. That's all you need, literally. You don't need any more than that. Now, put the cap back on, or just plonk that down, that's fine. Yeah. Now, putting the actual cooler on itself. If you're using a water cooler like us, you will want to be very careful when putting it on, not to entangle the pump, and also to look at the way you're going to be putting it on. I'm going to put it on like this. They can go on different ways. I'm going to put it on so that the tubes are at the top, because that's what feels most comfortable, really, for the actual tubes. Now these are pretty sturdy, these things, but if it's really tight, then it's not going to go on very well. So you just want to carefully lower the cooler down into place on the CPU. Now that's made contact. Line up the screws. And start screwing them in an X crisscross formation. So one side, and then the next. Not actually getting contact with this here. Just need to get some more visibility on that. Now this is the same with an air cooler. You've got to get these in the holes. Just line them up. Now that one on the right there is gone in nice and smooth, but on the other side, just having a little bit of difficulty trying to get this aligned. Alright, there we go. Now the reason you do this in an X crisscross is so that the pressure goes down evenly across the CPU. Just need to get some pressure on the back plate to bring these standoffs forward. Can actually feel a standoff has slipped out of place here, which needs to be pushed back in. That's why it's not making contact. That one is in. Just going to tilt the case up.
Right. Move.
Okay.
Tilt it up straight?
Yeah, well, not that way. It's okay, just bring this back.
Right.
Now that the CPU cooler is actually screwed in, shouldn't have any problems. Just one standoff at the back has
come loose.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to want to go in there. If your standoffs in the bracket do come loose like this, don't panic, just try and get them back in. Make sure that they are in the correct hole. Yeah, that one's really doesn't want to go in. There we go.
There you go.
Pop.
Okay.
Okay, finally.
After that mini heart attack. Just kidding.
Just tighten them down in a crisscross manner. We can tilt this back now.
Sure. Okay, that. There you go. I'll move these out of the way.
Okay, so now hopefully the thermal paste is still on there and secure after that little mishap. I've actually got another runaway stand up here.
Oh my god.
Let's bring this to the edge.
There you go. It's not so bad.
See, with the cheap adhesive that they have on a lot of these back plates, these standoffs will actually pop out of place like that, and it can be really, really hard to get them back in. But now I'm just going to tighten down in a crisscross fashion, move these tubes up out of the way, bring them down, him down on the other side. Now, the thermal paste will have got moved around there as I picked it up and sort of moved it around a bit, but hopefully that will help with the application. There we go, that one's in. That one's in. Just tighten them down until you feel the contact.
Yeah, it should be alright.
Okay, final one now. It's that one there. This one still wants to go. I'm just going to check the standoff to make sure it's actually in. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so they are now on there. Slight mishap with the standoffs popping out at the back, but as I said, with the cheap adhesive, they will. That is on there nice and secure. The next step is to connect these up. We're going to go over that in episode 3 or 4, and just double check that all these are firmly down. Give it a nice press on the top of your cooler, just even out some of that thermal paste if it's still in a lump. Okay, so that is how to put in a CPU cooler. Well, that's a water cooler, but there it is, right there, how to put a cooler in. And thanks for watching, we'll see you in the next part.